Good morning once again. Sorry for the glitch. My name is Bello Ibrahim, the convener of The Root of the Matter. On The Root of the Matter, we research and dissect issues that affect humanity. At the moment, we are trying to dissect poverty and how poverty can be eradicated. In our findings, we've been able to identify the fact that for us to eradicate poverty, all we need to do is to improve and increase upon our level of giving. Last week, I discussed about how giving affects our growth. Now, today, I shall continue from there. Now, part of what we were able to find out is the fact that life goes beyond what humanity comprehends. There is more to life than the physical life we all can see. Meaning that there is another part of life that is hidden. Now, except we are able to marry the two together, we might not be able to really perfect the act of living as humans. And these are part of what we are trying to share, so that it's high time we stop doing the hard work. Just like I mentioned last week, hard work is when the reward for effort, the effort used, when the reward is not as much or is not commensurate to the effort that is implied on a particular work. We refer to such a work as hard work. But good work is what I would want you, my friends out there and my viewers out there, to do in the year 2021. With good work, the reward will surely be much more than the effort implied on work. So please, now, the other thing I want you to say is this: life is a design. Life is a design. Except you understand how the design works, you can never get life right. It is such that when you look at an architectural design is what is required to replicate the image. It's meant to physicalize the image that is being imprinted on paper. When the architectural design is followed, exactly what is printed on the paper will be physically created. Now, in a scenario whereby the architectural design was not seen, definitely the building will surely be wrong. That is number one, which I want us to understand. There is a design for every individual life. There is a design for every individual life. And the truth of the matter is, just like our vehicle also, when you look at the cars we drive, the cars we drive is a product of a very, very complex design. Now, except you understand that design, you might not understand how to achieve effectiveness out of the car. So what am I trying to say? Life, the human life, is equally a design. Humanity needs to wake up and start understanding the realities of life. And these are part of what I have discovered in my research, that we have to end poverty. Africa has to take its position on the globe. And except we understand what is hidden, we might not be able to manage effectively what is physical. Life is a design. Now, the design of life is such that giving is at the core of that design. Giving is at the core of that design, except you understand how they become interwoven. Except you understand the interconnectivity of that design and giving, you might not be able to understand how life works. life is not different from our car. The moment you know how to drive your car, there is no place you cannot go with it. The moment you understand how to drive life, there is nowhere you cannot drive life to. You will be in control of your car when you know how to drive your car. So also, you will be in control of your life when you know how to drive your life. What I'm trying to share with you is not just for us to hear me. It has to do with practice. Spirituality is all about practice. Spirituality is not all about reading the holy books. No, except you practice them, you can never know that's the way it works. Except, even if you learn how to drive a car, except you drive a car, you can never know you can drive a car. That is the logic. That is the logic. Now, life is a design. Every of our life is uniquely designed for a particular purpose. Every of our life is uniquely designed for a particular purpose. And this is why we need not envy one another. We need not copy one another, because it's just like an examination scenario whereby each and every one of us are having different exam questions. The answers can never be the same. So, I need us to know this. We all are uniquely designed. It's now left to each and every one of us to go and identify, what is my unique design? What does it look like? What am I created to do? What purpose am I supposed to serve? A bulldozer has 4 legs. A car has 4 legs, but the purpose is unique into their design. Same thing applies to humanity. It's high time we identify this. You don't have to do what others do. All that you need is to do what you think is commensurate to you. Except that, life will not be meaningful. Except that, we will not be in control of our life. Yeah, life is a design. Please, let's take note of that. And I said, giving is at the core of the design. What do I mean? Giving is the center. The center point of that design called life. Giving is the core of it. One of the holy books said, do unto others what you would want others to do unto you. If I would want to juxtapose giving into it, I would say, give unto others what you would want others to give unto you. Can you see that? Do unto others what you would want others to do unto you. Let's fix in giving into it. Give unto others what you would want others to give unto you. You can see the correlation there. Giving is the core, is the center of that design called life. Now, except we understand giving, we might not understand our life. I will show you what I mean. Now, the first thing I want us to look at is this. Let's ask ourselves, what am I expected to give? What am I expected to give? I need all of us to ask ourselves that question. What is it I'm supposed to give? Now, the number one thing we are supposed to give is to give what we have. The number one thing we are supposed to give is to give what you have. Every one of us has something. Every one of us have something. There is nobody that is empty. Yes, we were born naked, but we were never born empty. Everybody I say, has something. And that something you have is what you have. It is the first stage. It is the first thing you must be able to give. If what you have, you think is not what you want, then first and foremost, give it out. Now, we move on to the next stage. When you give what you have, it's only when you give what you have that you can get what you want. Assuming you have a skill. When you give out that skill to somebody who needs that skill, that person will then in turn give you what you want. If what you want is food, then you'll be given food. If what you want is money, then you'll be given money in exchange for what you have. So the key there is, first and foremost, give what you have. And at this junction, this is where a lot of people get it wrong. The moment the first level of the equation is wrong, the totality of the equation must be wrong. And how do we go wrong? By the mentality of the fact that I have nothing. No. There is no one God has created who has nothing. Everybody has something. So don't say you don't have anything you can give. You have something you can give, except if you don't know what you have. But I can assure you, as we move on, I will show you how to know what you have. Yes, we move on to the next stage. Now you have given what you have to get what you want. Now, the second level in mathematics, we will say the second order equation is to give what you want also. What you have was the first order equation. You have given it out. Now you have gotten what you want. Now you have entered into the second order equation. In the second order equation, all you need to do is give what you want that you have gotten from what you have. If money was what you got, having given what you have, that money does not holistically belong to you. This is where we are getting it wrong. Part of that money needs to be given out. If food was what you got after you have given what you have, that food does not only belong to you. You need to give part of it also out. And if good health is what you have gotten after giving what you have, you need to also share that health. If peace of mind is what you have gotten, you need to share it out. If bliss is what you have gotten, you also need to share it with others. That takes us to the second order equation. Now, you have given what you have to get what you want. Now, when you give what you want, you will then get what you need. When you give what you want, you will get what you need. Because our want and our need are not the same. What we want is different from what we actually need. Because when you look at where we are facing problem in life today, a lot of us are only buying what we want, but we don't necessarily need them. Some people have as much as 5, 10 cars in their fleet. But the question is this: do they actually need the 10 cars? No. At a particular time, you only need one. To tell us that our needs far differs from our wants. So, you have given what you want. Now you have gotten what you need. Even that which you need still must be shared. Even that your need that has presently been met. Now we are in the third order equation of life. Now, even that which you have, that your need that has just been met, it's not holistically yours. Part of it needs to be shared also. The truth about life is that if you must understand how it works, you can't depend on one holy book and said you have gotten it all. No, you must touch every religious philosophies of life. Because God has not deposited everything into one. Even we were told that knowledge is such that even if you have to go all the way to China, you must seek knowledge. And the more knowledge you seek and find, the more light you'll be able to shine onto the world. Now, you have given what you have to get what you want. You have given what you want to get what you need. Now you have given what you need. What do you get? This is the funny part of it. When you give your need, when you share your need with others, that's when your life will then be known. Because when you share your need, then you get your life. Mind you, you needed a car, you have gotten the car. You needed a house, you have gotten the house. After you got the house, you got a wife into the house. The house then becomes, the wife you married then makes the house become a home for you. What you got is a house, not a home. Your need you got was a house. Your life is dependent on the home. Because you have now given your need is now given to you in return, your life. Now, when you look at that, life is like a 4-order equation. The first order is when you give what you have to get what you want. The second order is when you give what you want to get what you need. The third order is when you give what you need to get your life. And the fourth order now is the last and the beginning. And that's why we refer to God as the beginning and the end. Now, when you now give your life, when you become selfless, when you give your whole, do you know what you get? Except when you give yourself, except when you give your life, that is when you then know what you have. That is when you give your life, that's when you then identify what you truly have. Now, by the time you are identifying what you truly have, life is in cadres. Life is in levels. When you complete a level in the school of life, you'll be promoted to the next level. And when you get to the next level, it's still the same routine. When you give what you have, at the beginning of the onset of the next level, you get what you want. When you give what you want, you get what you need. When you give what you need, you get your life. When you get your life, it takes you to the third level. And that's how what we refer to as metamorphosis and growth of humanity. But because humanity has failed to even give in the first order, without the completion of the first order, the second order can never be activated. The more reason we were told that humanity is the architect of its own misfortune. When you give, you have only helped yourself. You have not helped anybody. When you give for your own good. When you give for your own grace. It's high time we stop saying it as if when I give, I'm helping people. You are not helping anybody. You are only helping yourself. So, I think I've been able to dissect that point. Please, most of my discussion can never be understood, not until when you put it to practice. Whatsoever you see me discussing with you here today, is out of practice. It's out of practice. Let me give you a practical example. In 2010, I started the school. Yes, we went into the interior, went into the village to start a school. Why? Why? Because what I have was much more required in the village. The truth is this, when you trade, there's a difference between giving and business. They are two different things. You can be in business and not be a giver. Yes. So if you are going to give, you give. If you are going to business, you do business. In 2010, myself, my wife, we sat down. That's another beautiful story. One of these days, I'll get there also. Now in 2010, we sat down. The community we find ourselves, education was being bastardized. Then we sat down and said, no, God has given us knowledge. We are teachers. Let's give it back. Meaning that we are not into business. we are into giving. We started the school in 2010 with 1,600 naira, 1,600 naira, 1,600 naira in 2010. The 1,600 naira, we give exercise book, we give uniform, because it's a village. Because life in that part was tough. Not everybody there can actually afford it. Even the 1,006, not everybody there can actually afford it. Now, fast forward to 2020. As at December 2020, 10 years after we started the school, 10 years after we started the school fees is still 4,000 naira. That is the giving we're talking about. After 10 years, the school fees still remains 10,000 naira. Now, the 10,000 naira is still inclusive of exercise book for a whole session. I know deep inside the minds of those who are watching, they will say, how is that possible? It's very, very possible. Now, the point is this. When God has given you something, the best you can do with it is not to trade it for money. Trade it for good. Trade it for the betterment of the lives of others. Now, what am I trying to say? This goes out to other school owners out there. School business is not supposed to be a business. Because we made education become a business, that is why there is crisis. Education is the right of every child. We should make it as much as possible. We should make it affordable. And when you give, God will reward elsewhere. Instead of us to increase school fees, all we need to do was to think outside the box. All we need to do was to think outside the box. Okay, if the money we are getting cannot pay the bills, what do we do? There has to be something we can do. That's where we have given the knowledge. Now we want something. We want something we can do that will help us to run the school effectively. And God is beautiful in heaven. God is beautiful. When you ask, one of the Holy Books said, ask and ye shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door will be open. We were asking, God, there has to be something we can do to maintain these school fees. Right as I'm talking to you, the school produces its own biscuits. The school produces its own chalk. The school produces its own exercise book. And the returns from all these other productions is what augments the school fees. We don't have to increase the school fees. Even after 10 years, we've just added 1,000 naira to make it 5,000 naira for 2021. And by God's grace, up to December, our 22 teachers have been paid. It is said, it is not by power, nor by might, but by the grace of God that gives all things. It's high time we come out of our dilemma. For humanity to succeed, humanity must learn to give. For humanity to succeed, humanity must learn to give. We need to be our brother's keeper. And on the last note, I would want to say this. Except you give, you can never get what you want. Except you give what you have, you can never get what you want. And except you give what you want, you can never get what you need. And except you give what you need, you can never get your life together. And except we are ready to give our life, we can never know what we want, what we have. I will equally explain that part. You see, when we say, when you give your life, just like the Christian scripture would say, give your life to Christ. Yes, that's the key. you need to do is give your life. The most important thing is an intention to give your life. Just like when we started the school in 2010, all we did, we never had the money. We were only able to build 3 classrooms in 2010. And to the glory of God, today we have 26 classrooms. And yet our school fees is 4,000 naira. The most important thing in life is just an intention. The Holy Quran said, the intention supersedes even the work itself. Intention is the key. You don't have to have the money with which you would do the right thing. All you need to do is make an intention. If you help me to do this, oh Lord, I have an intention to do that. Simple. You don't need to have the money. In 2010, we were only able to build just 3 classrooms in 2010. And we created an intention that no, we want the children to have the best of education. At least to the glory of God, we have produced